thank you to the Tenora cheerleaders and their student section for that introduction, Chuck. They keep getting better and better every week.
I'm telling you, the Stampede 2015 is going crazy.
I'll tell you, it's fun doing this every week, and we get great introductions like that. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? Hey, welcome to week 3 of the Tim and Chuck Show, presented by Batt and Stevens Body Shop. We are here on location at Frickers of Defiance. And Chuck, 2 weeks are already in the book. It's flying by.
Flies by, it goes fast. It just seemed like yesterday we're just, getting ready for 2-a-days. But now all of a sudden heading into week 3 and league matchups are starting to heat up, and it's getting down into the meat of the season.
Yeah. Well, how about this new table covering we have here?
Man, I'm telling you, we're getting almost too fancy for me. I don't know. Table covers and stuff, I don't know. Where does it stop? Where does the madness stop?
Well, maybe there'll be hats and t-shirts. I mean, they're going to put you on a t-shirt.
Oh, nobody wants to wear me. Nobody wants to be. Nobody wants to be part of that.
Chuck, let's jump into this week's game of the week. Tenora, they've been featured on this show prominently early. They're going to be featured again, Chuck. They're hitting the road to Wauseon. They're continuing their tour through the NWAL. Last week they took down a good Delta team, one of the league favorites. This week they got Wauseon, the league favorite.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody is talking about Tenora after the great run they had last year and all the weapons that they have back. Everybody was talking about them and the team to beat as being a team to beat. And, they're just showing that a lot of that talk was warranted because they're playing really well so far.
Yeah, so Chuck, what do you think of this matchup? What are going to be the keys for these teams?
Well, again, I sort of talked about it a little bit last week. It all starts up front. And I think, Tenora's line did a great job last week of stuffing a big physical Delta squad. So it's going to start, for the Rambos again up front this week, I think.
Well, Wauseon has steamrolled through 2 opponents so far. They come off a big win last week against Fostoria. They're putting up points.
Yeah, they sure are, and people are like, well, Wauseon really hasn't played anybody yet. They haven't been tested yet. Well, they'll be tested on Friday, and we're going to find out, if Wauseon's the real deal too. And, Coach Coop got his 50th win last week, so that's a shout out to him and what he's been able to do at Wauseon.
Yeah, J.J. Kaufman, their trigger man, he had a big game last week. Rushed for 3, passed for 2, and, we talked about Tenora's rushing attack. It was Alex Guerrero who scored 2 touchdowns in that win.
Yeah, they were running hard. You watch the highlights on the Crescent-News.com, you can see big holes opening up in those Tenora running backs, attacking grass and getting the ball upfield. They're doing a great job.
I'll tell you, that should be a great matchup, and I know that the fans are looking forward to that. So before we move any forward, Chuck, let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
With an online subscription to the Crescent News, you can read every article, see every photo, download and read each printed page, watch Crescent News videos, and see great deals offered by our advertisers. For just $7 a month, you'll know the news in Northwest Ohio as it happens. All
right, Chuck, it's that time of the week.
Yeah.
We are ready for the Rose Insurance Collision of the Week. What do they say about that, Chuck?
What they say is a collision by any other name would not be the Rose Insurance Collision of the Week.
What do we got?
Hey, coming from that Tenora game, you got TJ Garris taking the handoff, hitting the hole, and you know what? You got to play this game a little violent sometimes, and he runs right up the spine of Dustin Martini and running hard. As a defender, you don't ever want to see a running back running hard through a hole like that, because then you'll be counting 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, be counting lights.
Yeah, right on his back.
Yep.
Yes, that is our Rose Insurance Collision of the Week. It's time for our Jacobs Meets Play of the Week from that same game. We just talked about Alex Guerrero a little bit ago. In that game, he takes a handoff, sweeps right. You see him diving into the end zone for a score for Tenora. Gets a great block from TJ Garris right at the goal line. Gets into the end zone. Tenora goes on to win that game 24-14. Congratulations to the Rams for being 2-0 and another big play. Yeah, and that's our Jacobs Meets Play of the Week. And now it's time to talk about our guy Ethan Matson, our videographer. Where's he going to be this week, Chuck?
My guess is he's going to follow the Stampede again this week, Tim.
Well, I think you're right. He's heading over to Wauseon on Friday night for the Tenora-Wauseon game, our game of the week. All you Wauseon and Tenora fans, look for Ethan. Go crazy, have some fun. We might just see you on the show next week.
That's right.
Why not?
Great. We do something crazy.
Do something crazy.
We do it every week. Every Tuesday we do something crazy.
Yeah, we come out here and do this. That's right. Well, Chuck, it's time to thank our sponsors. We couldn't do this without them. Batten Stevens for being, so great and being our title sponsor. Frickers for hosting the show. Yep. Rose Insurance for the collision of the week. Jacobs Meats. A big thank you to those guys.
Yeah, big shout out. Couldn't be done without you guys.
Yeah. And of course, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. It's scrolling right here underneath us. Yep. If you have any questions, send us one on our email account, also scrolling here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got to say something. Plug the Crescent-News Sports Department, Chuck. They do a great job.
Yeah. They cover a lot of games every week, get a lot of good pictures, a lot of great articles. And again, late Friday night, you want to know what happens? Get online. You'll be able to find out the scores right away.
Yeah, that's true. Chuck, that's it for week 3 of the Tim and Chuck Show. How about some words of wisdom?
Hydrate today, play well tomorrow.
You heard him, folks. See you next week.